The space became quiet.
What's the Gisha?
Layla moved out.
Oh, the floors. No,
Shabbos is a big. Shabbos is still a big island here. Yeah.
50 people sometimes.
Yeah. Not Nicker that people are moving out.
Oh,
Mhm.
no. No, no.
Tough Gimel, yeah. Um, I think we're holding tough base.
What was I? Gustavo, I think. Zuchazor.
Let's go back to Dalit.
Okay.
We're learning about that there is an Indian to wash your hands until Yedayim for food touching before eating food which is wet. Food which is wet food. Um, by the way, the place can point out that if you dry the food,
Right.
it's not a problem. It's no longer wet.
Yeah, that's why many times people take like wet grapes, with a napkin and eat this without washing. Question is, what happens if you eat it with a glove? You're holding a plastic glove and you don't touch wet. Is it considered like you don't have to wash?
He
Or the
talks
food
about
have to be dry? Or the food have to be dry?
I think he's going to talk about it soon.
Okay.
Definitely by Sutta, he talks about it. Ein nikra mashke, Loshan hatoida, al zayin mashkim, shema mayim, vayayin, vashemen, vafolo, atal, udvash, dvoidim.
Not dates. That's
Right. And that's honey from other
right.
things. Vedam, behema, chaya, v'oif. How could you eat the dam? You're not allowed to eat the dam. Goin, shemetabel, boy, lefuol, lepuach nefesh. Avol, dam, dogim, ein nikra mashke. Dam dogim is no problem to eat dam dogim. However, it's not called a mashke. Oichel dog im damoy ein tzarich until today. Now I want to point out it says ayayim v'hashemen.
Right.
So the Mishabura points out that this is dafke shemen zayis,
Not all the Hadash money.
no,
The same like honey.
not
Not
canola, vegetable,
right.
avocado oil.
Doesn't consider the
Right.
shemen.
So sometimes it could be that it was not used with olive oil a lot of
Right.
times.
Most of the time it's not.
Then yeah, and if it doesn't have water, okay, not a problem. Don't need till Sidaim. Sivhei v'chein shar kol mei pedis, other fruit juice. Afilu makim shirigivin lasis mashkim shsia mischitis edapedis. Some places you squeeze apple juice, orange juice, various juices. Shuchoshem mashkilin Shabbos. When it comes to Shabbos, we hold the inala to be soichet a pri, which people are soichet to drink it. Any nikra mashkin in Tumah. Tumah is different. It's only these seven mashkin that we mentioned earlier. V'chein le'inyan etilos yedayim shetiknu
Vitamins.
shemzrach truma la'achal b'tara. So the
Vitamins.
whole idea of truma, washing your hands, you shouldn't make your hands tamei for the truma. So we only go by those things that make you tameh. Only these zayim mashkim and nothing else. Only things that were mentioned in the Torah. What were you asking?
No, I said the
Bisman
Srach Truma is a
Bisman Mesa
time
Mikdash.
English.
Yeah. Now, afilu vav, afilu pedis hakvushim oishlukim v'shalim. You have fruits that were put to sit in the juice,
Pickles.
right? Oishlukim v'shalim, where they were cooked in one of these zayin mashkin elu. Shesochat hamashke shenivla mehem, which that was soichet, the mashke, the liquid that was inside these fruits. And you cook it, so it brings out the juice. Ein ala nischat ze teures mashke, ala teures oichel. Ma'acha shehoye belua ba'oichel.
Like lemon juice, you wouldn't call lemon juice, it's called oichel. Because
This is what he's telling. This is what it is. Read it wrong. Saying if you have fruits that were cooked or kavush in one of the zayin mashkim, so the zayin mashkim became balua into that fruit as vegetable. Now it has absorbed in it the mashke.
and not the food itself. No.
Yeah, the zayin mashke now went inside this peri.
And you went ahead and squeeze it.
Now you
So
squeeze
it's
it.
going to be water again.
You squeezed it out now. Ein ala nischad zeh teres mashke teres oichel ma'acha shehoye below ba'oichel. Once it went in there, and now you're squeezing it out. Let's say the water. You cooked it in water.
And
Now the pre has water in it.
and you squeeze the water.
Squeeze the water now. Oh, add water.
So this water.
This vegetable, maybe now it's dried up. Let's say you cooked it, you left it out, it's dried. But if you squeeze it, the water is going to come out, and this water was original water that was cooked and went into it. It's absorbed in it. Now I squeeze it, so the mashke, the fruit is wet. Do you say Yedayim or not?
Nevertheless,
No, you don't need to.
The water is going to be oichel.
Now it's oichel. Looks like water. It's not a water. This is oichel. This has a halachic status of water of oichel.
Right.
Therefore, you're not going to require Netilas Yedayim the su'udah. It's
okay. Sit down.
Don't worry. Come sit down. Yeah, bring him out safe for a moment.
No, yeah. Preach down, please.
Came a basa v'dogim v'shar mini oichelim hakvushim v'shlukim echem v'zayim minishkem.
Once you take out the juice, the juice became ochel and not water, not mushroom.
So the water there.
Thank you.
So we're saying now a chidush that we were talking over here that you have to wash your hands. There's
When you eat something,
when you wash when a fruit or a vegetable or even a food, another meichel, any meichel, which is wet from one of the zayim mashkim, one of the seven mashkim, there are those that are mahader and they're machmer to wash their hands before they don't make al netilas yedayim. Well, we're discussing what happens if you cook a vegetable or a fruit and the water or one of the other zayim mashkim went inside to this, absorbed now into this fruit. Now you left it out, it's dried up, and you give it a squeeze. You squeeze it, the liquid comes out, and the fruit is now wet. The vegetable, the fruit is wet. Does that wetness make it now considered a wet fruit, a wet vegetable? And now there's an inyan to wash, like we do by karpas, that we wash our hands before we eat. So he says, the Alter Rebbe explains that once it went absorbed into into the vegetable, it became oichel. And now when I squeeze it out, I squeezed out oichel.
Okay.
Even though it was originally water was outside the free, but now that it got absorbed in, it has a Torah's oichel.
Cool.
Um, whether this food, we're in the middle of page Taf Beis, the line starts with Mikomokim. Um, even if you're gonna eat this vegetable that was cooked or was put into what do they call kavish? How do you say it in English?
Pickle.
Pickled. But oid sharoite v'marak tefeach olav shenisnage but shaloi yehei breit v'matfiat on tziyus dayim. If you did not, it's still wet. You didn't dry it off. You still need a tziyus dayim. Sheroichel zem etubel mamashke shamarak shal kvushim ashlukim v'shalom mashke gamru. Kishum izayim mashkin. Mashe nivel menu mitoicha oichel bavad yotza mitoides mashke.
It's a very, very wow.
Meaning, while it's still wet, when you take out the vegetable, the fruit from the pot, from the pickling jar, and it's still wet with one of the Zayim Mashkim, that's considered something which is right to wash your hands for. However, once you dry it off the outside, even though now I gave a squeeze, or I'm cutting it with the fork and it comes out liquid, that's oichel. If you remember, by the way, if it's a derech is to eat it with a fork, spoon, you don't have to wash for it. Now,
you put a straw and the machal, put a straw and suck some juices. Some people do that.
if that's the derech, then you don't have to. No shayla at all. Good question. So therefore, the Alter Rebbe says, wash it off. L'chein yinageb oisoi chila mimasha shagabav va'av shechoizer u'mislachlich mimashka nischu mitoychoy k'shneit b'yad. When you pick up your hands like give it a little squeeze,
Doesn't matter.
and it presses out some of the liquid inside of it.
This
It doesn't matter. Ain bekach klum, because that liquid now is an oichel. It was cooked into an oichel. It became part and parcel of the oichel. Oi, another eitzah is, if it's still wet, from the liquid on the outside, sheet it with a spoon. If that's the derech to eat it, and then you don't have to wash your hands.
What's the derech to it? Because
So you can always dry off. Important to know that if you dry it off, it's not a problem. Someone can dry off the vegetable. Not a problem. There's no shayla b'chalal, even if you eat it with your hands.
Children open a can of pickles and eat it like that. It's wet on the outside.
Okay? That's takeaway.
A lot of people
So those that are machmir,
They will take it
wash
after
the
with the
hands.
fork. Or take it with the fork, not touching it.
So that depends. What's the derech in that chilaf? So those
6 times the name, or just wash hands.
regular pills time, just like pas.
Just without a bracha.
According to these shitas, it's the same thing as pas. It's under the same gather.
It's 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 3.
Because many shitas hold that we don't do it. So therefore, don't wash. Those that do, don't wash with the bracha. We don't wash for karpas with the bracha.
So well, how you do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3?
Just like pas.
It is 1, 2,
It's
3.
the exact same thing like pas. It's no chiluk.
For most people, it doesn't hold.
We never spoke about it. No, most of the oil doesn't. No, most of the oil doesn't do it.
Very small.
No.
I tell you, when Ubashma was in jail, they gave him food vegetables with dips to eat because they couldn't wash it. He said, "No, I have to wash my hand because I'm dipping something in wetness."
And they let him?
So one time he did it and it saved him because it was a fight over that as he was saying it. So Makpid and a mitzvah that is not a chiyuv, but took upon myself and it saved me. Interesting. I remember hearing it's like, wow.
So I think we're going to skip to more negei the kedinim.
Zayin Chet.
Maybe a little bit late in the simon, but I just want to point out that when we say something is dry, when it comes to Tuma and Tara, it doesn't mean it has to be 100% dry. has to be dry to the level that it's not teifeach hamanas latfiach. What does that mean? Not wet enough to make something else wet. It means like this: if I have some wetness on my hand, palm of my hand, or on the vegetable, right, and I touch it, if I could take my finger now and put it somewhere else, and it makes wetness over there, so then it's enough tefeach amanas latfiach something else. So then it's considered wet. But if it's not that wet, very, very slightly wet, it's not enough wetness to make something else wet, then it's not considered mashke when it comes to tuma and tara. When it's below that shear. And the same thing is when it comes to washing your hands. On such type of peiris or foods that are wet, it's only when it's tefeach amanas latfiach wet. If it's less than that, it's considered dry. Um, now, so let's jump to Sif Yud Aleph. Hanoitel yod of the peiris neguvim. Someone who washes his hands in order to eat dry fruits. Afilu chitim u'sa'odim. Shetrumasim and hatoira harei zeh migase haruach. Even chitim and sa'odim, the Torah says, what is chayiv in truma? The gancha, firoishcha, yitzarecha. The gancha grain is chitim and sa'odim, which are truma from his min hatoira. But if they're dry, even if you wash your hands for that, you're called a gas ruach. Like you're showing off. I even wash my hands for this.
Big shot.
No one washes hands for this. This is cool. If it's dry, there's no inyan to wash your hands. So then you're considered migase haruach. This is a Gemara in Chulin. Even though I need to make a bracha, when I eat, I need to make a bracha. And maybe my hands are dirty, so I'm washing pasha to make my hands clean. Stam Yedayim kshedas l'bracha. We don't concern when every time you make a bracha, you wash your hands. Stam Yedayim kshedas to make a bracha. Elimke Yedeya shenoga b'mokim betunaf. Unless you know that you touched a mokim betunaf, a dirty place, then you have to clean your hands. But other than that, for brachas, you don't have any problems, so you don't need to wash your hands. So you're megase haruach. It's only when you call the gas ruach, when you do it, because you say, oh, look, you have to do it, because Netilas Yedayim, like pass. Now that's a problem. Even though you don't know that there is any tumah on the hands, it's okay for the cover of the bracha. We're not talking like someone who's an istit. I mean, you're doing this for the bracha, not for the food. The covered in the bracha, so you're washing your hands, that's covered. But not else, like, I need to wash my hands like for pas. But we find interesting that by certain times, people wash their hands before they do a mitzvah. For the Shulchan Aruch, that there are those that are noyig, before they do bedikas chametz, wash their hands.
Yeah. And Chanukah also.
I see on the bottom they're mitzayin to this in Kuf Yud Zayin.
For learning, people do.
Harei gam simin kaman simin tafla mebeis v'beis which is Hilchos Pesach. It says that in someone they can wash their hands.
Yeah, to be clean.
You touch your hand with the water. This could be.
They wash their hands before they learn.
Yeah.
So this is out covered, even though minadin, there's no problem. There's no problem to wash it. No need to wash your hands. Hashoisa ein tzarich litel afilu yodei achas. Someone who drinks, like he spoke earlier in the simon, drinking, you always drink in a keli. You don't touch the liquid. So chazal will never keveya to wash hands. So now we're going to all the times that you don't have to wash. When it's dry, you don't wash. Even if it's dagat chitim and sa'odim, you don't have to wash. Furthermore, drinking, you don't wash your hands. Even the one hand that you're holding it with. Elam kain shoyse b'toich hasuda. Ve'en yodam nekiyas. Unless your hands are not clean, so then you need to, in your b'toich hasuda, so you want to continue eating, so then you need to wash your hands in the middle of the suda. Yeah, right. If you give natal yadav.
Is because he was middle eating and he wanted to drink middle soda. His hand got dirty from the food and he wanted to drink middle the soda.
MSC, I don't remember this. I don't remember
His hands
this.
are dirty. He has to wash his hands because he's eating.
Maybe.
But I don't
Why is it
remember
after
middle the meal, somebody should wash.
Why is it after b'soy chasuda?
Because he's eating other foods.
He,
He's eating challah.
so
So he's washing his hands for other things, not for the drink.
not for the drink.
No.
So what's the kiddush then?
You should have clean hands when you wash your hands. I mean, when you eat.
So he washed from Moitzi or no?
No.
So how's he? So he wants to. See, the middle of a meal. What happened at the beginning of the meal? Didn't wash.
No,
He wasn't washing. He wasn't eating pas.
Right.
B'soy chasuda, his hands were dirty.
right. And so
So then he has to.
this wash his hands.
The saying is it's not afka shoysa
I
then.
don't think it's a chiddush.
It's not a shoysa either. Even like oichel also.
It's not possible. You're middle eating and
And
you
you
feel
touch the.
something dirty, so wash your hand.
I hear you. Okay.
I don't think he's talking about food dirty. He's talking about dirty, like, touch your shoes or.
Right. Matunif. Matunif.
Right.
Scratch at your head. So you're saying it's not afka shoysa. You hear right. By putting your hands on the hair, not a problem.
I see people do with yarmulke like this, not to touch.
Putting it inside the hair. On top is not a problem. Inside the hair is a problem.
The doctor,
Place can say it's not a problem on top. It's inside the hair.
not to touch.
Elisha says it's not a problem today because everybody uses shampoo and they wash their hair every day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So today it's not.
So even if you
So
put your hand
it was
inside,
not an issue of cleanliness, it was an issue. It was not an issue of
Tumah.
that an area that's covered normally, and more to do with, and the issue with an area that's covered normally, that have to do with tumah or cleanliness. You understand my question?
Maybe I'll sneeze kill. That's a part that's usually covered.
Right, and
That seems more like a Ruchniistic idea.
the point is
The less the idea was it's covered in the sweat there more. Less.
right. Maybe in the olden days they didn't clean so much besides
They didn't have shampoo.
whatever was
They
visible.
didn't
You're
take.
right,
They didn't have a bathhouse in their house.
didn't have hot water.
Merchets in the house. They didn't have water. So they would go once a week, spend some money, and once a week they would go to the merchets of Erev Shabbos. How did happen? Say the Yidden were cleaner because Erev Shabbos they had to go to the merchets, but we're
can't understand how they used to live.
not all yada v'davar shekibuli b'mashke sifid gimel v'yakich nimol lechol lechem yachzer v'yitel yadav
For the bread.
v'loi bracha v'loi siach daitei. If you washed for tibuli b'mashke, for a vegetable that you dip into mashke,
And
but then you change your mind and I want to eat bread. Does that Netila help for bread? So he says you should be chayzer and wash your hands again, but without a bracha if you weren't Mesiach Das. Why? Fi she'oimrim shedavar shedibul mashkin tzarech Netila Yedayim klavos banazeh. The kilu noit the kiz v'amo. We read earlier the ending of Siv Gimel that there are shittas mishaynim that a lot are noig this way that way. That they don't wash their hands for davar shetulim mashkin. So it comes out when you were washing today for fruits like this, according to those shittas, you were just doing it for nikius, but there's no inyan to do it. V'leil shem mitzvahs netila. Netilas Yedayim tzricha kavana. Netilas Yedayim needs kavana. L'shem netila machsheres lachila. So you had a mind for something which, according to those opinions, is something which is potter from Netila. So Netilas Yedayim wasn't l'shem mitzvah.
That's according to the opinion that you have to wash hands for vegetables, you have to make the bracha too.
In Indian they would, yeah. The Rambam they would hold, yeah. But the Koya, we don't paskin because we have other days. We don't make a bracha.
I get my lead up would be what if somebody made the bracha and then
So that was the famous story that it happens in many houses, but by the Rebbe Seder in 1959, Tafshin Yates, where someone had washed their karpas and then by accident said the bracha, and then no, and the Rebbe had to give a psak.
you might see matzah.
So he told them to wash and have matzah, to have matzah, and then to go back and to matzah only through koyrech. Later on, he changed Achrin Shal Pesach, and he said that he was chayzer by, and he looked into the Svarim, and the Rebbe said that he should do matzah, but then don't go to Mar and koyrech. Go right back to karpas and do the Haggadah and do everything else Seder. The only thing is this Shaila, what the Rebbe constructed, is based on the sif here.
Right, my question is
Sif over here is, well, Shaila, what was the person having in mind when you make the bracha by karpas? What are you thinking you're doing? You're not really thinking.
right, but you're not thinking might see matzah.
So the you're not thinking Moitzi Matzah. You're thinking was probably you're just
Four thoughts.
Oh, you say if you made a mistake and make Netilas Yedayim by,
you're right.
so you planning to eat matzah. That's why you made the bracha.
Is that what kavan is, or is this
No, or
kavan?
just not necessarily.
So used
You're
to.
just so used to when you wash, you make.
You have to say, don't make a bracha. Don't make
Right.
a bracha.
It's happened to me or someone in my family.
I think it happens to every family.
Right, but
Right,
my question is,
don't make a bracha.
but
Watch
not on the Seder. You wash for the vegetables and you made a bracha by mistake. Then and now you want to eat bread.
So this is similar to this case that you washed for Davish to Mashke. After you wash, you thought, you know what? Let me eat some bread. So they have to wash again. So he says, wash again without a bracha.
Even if you make.
Why do you wash again? First of all, why do you do it without a bracha? I'm saying, why do you wash again? Because according to the Shitas Rishonim that hold that you don't wash Bizman Hazeh for Davish to Mashke, your washing was meaningless. You washed just for cleanliness. There was no reason for you to wash. So it wasn't l'shem mitzvah. Netilas Yedayim has to have kavanah l'shem mitzvah. You didn't have a l'shem mitzvah. There's no mitzvah on what you were doing.
Which he feels tonight.
If you wash it to b'lei mashke and now you want to eat pas, it's not necessarily going to work. Because why does it no? Because any Netilas Yedayim needs to be l'shem mitzvah. The problem over here is that according to some days, you don't need to wash these days for Davish. Like most people are like, they don't wash for Davish to b'lei mashke.
But if he did because he wanted to be machmir, that's kind of a shame mitzvah.
But according to the opinions that hold that you don't have to, you're not doing anything. You're doing zero. So there's no mitzvah in it. So there's missing the l'shem mitzvah. But therefore, you have to wash again. However, we're going to see soon why you don't have to make a bracha. Why shouldn't you make a bracha again? Someone washes his hands for cleanliness purposes. Obviously, nothing to do with Tibula Mashke. And then you say, hey, let me go use this for Amaitzi. No. Doesn't work. You have to wash again. Now, why not to make a bracha on it? Kol makom lo yivarich, im lo yishisiach daitoi mehem, pi sheyesh oimim shentil daim and tzricha kavana v'sav brachas lahakol. If you are not Mesiach Das, don't make a bracha. The reason is because some say Netilas Yedayim does not need kavana. Before we said Netilas Yedayim needs kavana, but our Shita say you don't need kavana for Netilas Yedayim. Even if you wash it out, so therefore, don't make a bracha because there are opinions that say you don't need to make a bracha.
Even if you didn't make a bracha the first time.
If you didn't make a bracha the first time, then l'chori you should make it a bracha. Let's cover both. Kishema also until Rishayna. Until it's Rishayna, Lishayach Lavarech, even Shem Niskavan Klal and Atila. Lema Hadavar Doima, Lenida Shanafal Mayim, Benita Mitumasa, Sheni bereches al tefillah zu baliyasa.
It's a very thing.
Really?
What is he saying?
Overlast Yasin?
No longer incumbent, the mitzvah.
I'm not sure, but it's an interesting case. Saying that once it was done, it's not shaykhs to saying the bracha. Is it because of Ayvel Asiyasa? I don't think so. It's because Nida anyways makes it after.
Right. First you make it will, then make the broch, and then tevel again.
It's because, yeah, the reason they do that because machlokes. Whether you could say it before or after.
Right.
So you do like that, you tevel once, then you make the bracha, and then you tevel again. Over here, it's interesting that the halacha is that Anida is tamei, and she falls into the
Water.
mayim. She didn't plan on the tevel, she fell in, she's tar. But now she can't go make a bracha on it because she had no kavana for that to be a mitzvah.
Right.
So the payel, it worked.
But then
It worked.
Wait, but this is
You
even
can't make a
according to the
bracha.
opinion that you go to that she goes to the mikveh, makes a bracha, and then goes to the mikveh again. That I don't know.
Well,
That would
according
be
to all
according to that
opinions.
opinion, why that wouldn't make sense that you wouldn't make a bracha.
According to all this works according to all opinions that you can't.
Because then she can, if the first said she'd go a second time, make the bracha, and then go a third time. You understand what I'm saying?
But once she was already tahir, there's no point.
But
The
why do you
second time.
but why do you make the bracha? You're saying the bracha is made in between? You go twice and the bracha is made
no
in
once.
That's a good kasha. The kasha is if you go twice, how could you make a bracha
You're making bracha in the middle.
in the
Then
middle
why not now? Or just go a second time?
if you're already?
You're already pure.
Right. According to the ping, why are you making? What's the reason? Let's first explain. The din is that it looks like this. All the brachas have to be made over lasiyasin.
Which means
You have to before you do it. And by the way, not over the over. You can't make them too early. So they have to be before and close. Over and samach to the mitzvah. However, we find that there are a few times that we make the bracha after the mitzvah.
women that like Shadistan, like no, they make it.
Yes, women lighting Shabbos candles, taking a lulav, Netilas Yedayim, shofar before, 3 brachas we make before, right?
The lulav kind of, because we don't put it together until after the rafa. So for those that's upside down, we don't.
So the lulav has its own reason, and Halachos Netilas has its own reason. The lulav has because once you the lulav actually no lulav it says that you can't pick it up. The lulav is problematic. No, the lulav we actually make sure to make it in a way that you're doing it before. Either in Chabad they don't put the esrog together with it. They don't hold the esrog till after the bracha. In the Velt you hold the esrog upside down. They flip it over. So to make sure that you're not, because once you pick it up, you're yoitz already. Okay, that's the deal with a different thing. Halachos Netilas Shabbos Kodesh. The reason why they make the bracha later is because the women had this inyan that they felt that after they make the bracha, like Kabbalah Shabbos, you can't light anymore. Why they thought so, I don't know, but they did. So the ladies pushed it off to later. How do they do it? Over lasiyasan. It says they're not supposed to have hana from the neighbors. They don't look at it. They close their eyes right away after they light it. They don't look at it. They make the bracha, then they open their eyes and they look at it and they have hana. They bask in the light of the natives. So that's how it's going to be over siyas. How it comes to Netilas Yedayim, we have another reason why, because Netilas Yedayim, the hands are tummy. So you want to first clean your hands and then make the bracha. Okay. Now, by the way, there was the mother of the Drisha, the mother of the Prisha, the Baal Prisha and Drisha, the Smeh. She was a big Talmid Chachama, and she had her own Chidushim. So the son who was publishing the Sefer, his father Svarim, so he wrote in the Hakdama about his father, and then he also wrote some things about his mother. He wrote when the Bachram would come to eat at the house, she had all these different pirushim and chumash and everything, and then he mentioned some of her chidushim that she had, and he was meshabeach her, and he's two of the things of his two of the things were like this. There were two chidushim legabe lighting candles on Yom Tov. She said Shabbos we do two things. We light early. We light before Shkia. You can't light on Shabbos. You have to light before. And on Shabbos, we say the women say the bracha after lighting the candles, not before. She held on Yom Tov. What do people do on Yom Tov? On Yom Tov, people wait until the meal. They light the candles when the men come home from shul. So the women go to light the candles on Yom Tov. And how do they light? And when do they say the bracha? They say the bracha after, like Shabbos. So she said those two things. She thinks that the Olam was wrong. She said Yom Tov, you shouldn't wait just because Yom Tov you're allowed to light a fire, so you can light it later. No, it's not covered of Yom Tov. You should have already a candle lit before. The Gemara says that you should have a table set. The table should have a tablecloth on before Shabbos, and Yom Tov. And you should have a candle lit on the table. She said it's not covered Yom Tov. What's the difference between covered Shabbos, covered Yom Tov? You should still have the candle on the table ready before Yom
The
Tov.
2-day Yom Tov, obviously the first day. What about the second day?
Second day you don't have a choice, right?
No, I'm saying what if they're
You're right. Second day you have to wait till Tzeitzek Yichavim to light the candle because of
even if it's
Hachana.
not Shabbos the first day.
Because of a din Hachana. But the evidence you did, by the way, which happens often, sometimes women make a mistake and they remember what they do like other times. They do it earlier. It's b'diavad okay, but l'maisa
So the first
they wait till Tzeitzek Yichavim. So she said that's one thing of hers. The other chiddush she said was this: the Yom Tif. She said you should make the bracha before you light. Shabbos, why do they make it later? Because they don't want to say the bracha, and after the bracha, the bracha is like a Kabbalah Shabbos, and after the bracha they're going to light. Yom Tov, you don't have this problem because it's mutter to light, so they can make the bracha and continue to light. These were the two chiddush. So the place can discuss it.
What she did, and Yom Tov Yechad Shabbos. The first Yom Tov is Friday night. What she did?
well
Shabbos, you have to follow Shabbos.
Right.
Shabbos is Shabbos.
She had no choice.
right.
Not true. Right.
So even if the first day is Yom Tov, you do it.
Versus Shabbos.
If the first day is Yom Tov, if the first day Yom Tov and the second day is Yom Tov, you do it Matzah. You do it after Tzeitzek Chachamim the second night, but you do the bracha afterwards.
No.
No. You do the bracha
No.
before.
They light the candles and make like Shabbos. Second day Yom Tov, right?
Mhm.
They light the candles and then make the bracha like Friday, like Shabbos.
The Paiskim have a lot of discussion about Hilchas Shabbos. The Magen Avram, the Noidi Behuda and his Dagam Ravava, all the Paiskim are busy with her discussing the chiddush that she had, that Yom Tov should be different than Shabbos, and you should make the bracha before. Some say phrase it, and some say no, she's wrong. It's a big discussion in the Paiskim there. Lamaisa, the Alter Rebbe Paskin, like the Magen Avram Paskin, that no, the Yom Tov you don't change on Yom Tov. Reason being, not because the Svara why she was right, but because when Chazal said it the brachas, they set it up in a definitive way. Shloi l'chalik every time you do it. So if by hadlaka you light afterwards, because Shabbos you have to make the bracha later. So on Yom Tov you're also going to make the bracha later. We're not going to say one time like this, one time like that. It's going to be conformity. So therefore we do it afterwards. When it comes to lighting on Yom Tov, you should light earlier, not wait till everyone comes home from a shul. In that, the Welt is mechulik in Chabad, they light before Shkia. On Yom Tov also. If you could, obviously, if you can't, you light it later. However, I think most of the Welt, as far as I understand, light when you come home from after shul. The men come from shul, then they go to light the candles right before the meal, which is not like she had paskin. Okay, so
She used to put tefillin in that also.
What's it? Rashi's
So
daughter?
again, you said Chabad lights before
Rashi's
Shkia,
daughter
even
is
though you said
on
earlier.
Yom Tov.
Even though
Which one?
5 minutes ago, wait,
Yom Tov,
for the first night, yes,
First
we're talking
night.
about, not for the second.
first night, it's not
That's
written
right.
anywhere, like, but that is the on the
For
ground.
the first night. Now for the second night, never.
No, not the second night.
Well, the second night, Shabbos, but
Nah. But this Shaila came to me times about the lighting early, and I'll tell you, it comes up in Chabad. I had once where someone came and told me that I came to be a guest in someone's house, and they said to me that she felt bad, but she didn't realize, and she lit early the second night Yom Tiv, and then she chaps, and then she wants to know if she should light again or not. So you don't light again. The question comes in l'chatchila situations because in Chabad, young girls light candles.
Oh.
But the young girls, let's say now coming up Shavuos, right? The second night Shavuos is very late at night,
Very good. Yeah.
and you want to put the children to sleep. Can you let her light candles early second night? Very common question.
Okay.
So Maisi, you could be makel for her to light early if she wants to light. She doesn't light. She's not mechuyev to light. She's a little kid. But if they want her to light and she wants to light,
And the bracha is not bracha levatar.
no, because we hold that it's closer to the evening. It's darker already. It's darker already, and the candle has some te'elis.
The children have to make a bracha?
They don't have to. I mean, they're not. But api the minute Chabad, they make the bracha.
Mechuyev.
The women they make.
For age 3, we're teaching the girl to make a bracha.
Mm-hmm.
When the girl turned 3, we're teaching her to make a bracha when she light the
Yeah,
candles.
there are many Rebbeisha families that do it, and some Rosh Hashivas that did it, but it seems that it was historically this was common maybe before World War One, but then it became, because of all the poverty, and candles became very expensive. The electric bill was candles those days, so it was
They couldn't afford,
many
but they
people
looked
were just Maker had with the mother lights for the whole family, the father, whoever's lighting, lights for the whole family. So they start the minig of lighting. However, about Rebbeisha homes and Rosh Hashivas, Chashivim still kept the Amalek and minig. But the Rebbe only spoke about that later on. That he said that in the Alter Rebbe's family and on the Balatani and on the young women would light the candles, and then the young girls, and he introduced that all the Chassidim should be knowing that way too. And he turned it into a whole campaign to Makarav people, and that was the famous Mifta Ner Shabbos Kodesh.
Mifta Nesher.
Right. Which Rabbi Morozov was giving shiur about this recently here, right? He still is. Yeah. And by the way, I just saw recently in one of the Hamish magazines that there was a non-Lubavitch Kiruv organization that's actually focused, or maybe only about this mitzvah, about lighting candles, what it could do to change. And there's a big advertisement, and people can call and get your candles sent to you. There's only one difference. Over there, they say that you light two candles, which is Keneged Zachar v'Shamar. The Rebbe in his campaign pushed for one candle for the good stuff.
Start with
The house.
The
The house that we bought for the shul, the owner of the house, he's the one.
He's that one.
Interesting.
Cooperstein. Yeah. I remember him. He's still around?
Yeah.
His mind is still around?
No, mine is
No?
not.
Lives in Florida.
Yeah. Doesn't he move to Florida? Has a daughter there? Yeah, I remember when he would come around. Yeah.
Was it Chabad?
No,
Close to the Rebbe.
he used to have a factory that make frames in Sandalia. So they went to him and said, "Could you make the candles for us?"
Candlelight.
So he made like 1 million of that, 1.5 million. So he made a lot of money. So just for that, was able to buy this house. So now Rabbi Rosov told him, you got a borrow for the house. Give us the house for the Chabad. said that. He didn't say it. His son said that.
Well, they gave a good deal.
It was a heaven price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
The house was on the market for a long, long time, over 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It went down by half.
That's what's beautiful.
Wow.
So now they need money to fix it.
Wow. So again, I want to just be masakim this cave, getting back to Tilas time over here. If you washed for davar shetibuli mashke, and then you changed your mind, you want to use that washing Netila for bread, wash again, but don't say abracha. The reason why we wash again is because according to those Rishonim that say that you don't need to wash today for davar shetibuli mashke, your washing was meaningless. It wasn't l'shem mitzvah, so you have to wash again. Why not make a bracha on it? They'll make a bracha on it because some hold that you don't need to have kavanah l'shem mitzvah. So that netila was a good netila. So you don't make a bracha. Therefore, you don't make a bracha on it.
I guess I can answer from, just like on Pesach, you have to make the bracha the second time you wash, because you didn't make the first time, or the rest of the year. If you didn't make the first time, you do make a bracha.
So you can't make a bracha on the second time. The question is, why can you make on the first netila? Why can you now make a bracha on this now and have kavanah on the first netila? Explains the Alter Rebbe, you can't do that because that one, Shas, you did it. You didn't have to make a bracha. Now you want to retroactively say a bracha on it. Now Derech Hanida that fell into the mikvah and she became tired. She doesn't make a bracha later. Kavanah. Mishu b'midbar sifidala b'makom sakana. Someone's in a desert, b'makom sakana. Ve'in le'mayim mafachel achzareim. He's scared to go look for water. Parter Netilas Yedayim. Ve'in tzarich v'noyim alechol. He doesn't need to refrain from eating. Afa pishalei yistakim b'tam yisai at shivivi l'mayim. V'sheyesh lechol dvarim achedim shein v'stif l'tila. Shemakom sakana l'gazol klal Netilas Yedayim. He doesn't need to refrain from eating, even though there's no sakana for him. He has other foods. The answer is no. In a makim sakana, the whole gzeira is this battle. It's not pshat, it's here, and it's nitche, I have to try to be mekayim. The whole gzeira was never instituted makim sakana. So once you can't go to the water, you can do whatever you want. They were in encampment for war. One more sif. Sarich lizar moed to Yedayim shalom mazal from Netilas Yedayim. Chayev nidui obalidei anius v'neker mina oilam. V'fila hanoita yada b'vius mitzumsum. Even if you're washing your hands, but you're washing it with just mamish, just a revius. V'fila de anius. Yosef lita yada b'shafa. Use a lot of water. Hanoita maloi chafan mayim noisalei maloi chafan toiva obracha. The kol makim. Don't do it in order to become rich. Like the mission says in Pirkei in Perik Aleph, you should not be oived Hashem amanas to get the pras, to get the reward. You become. Yeah. We're going to go to Ma'ir.
That's why the quote that we have.
We need one more, no?
No, we have exactly 10.
In 1972, I was in mission in Simon. They put us with parachute down there, and they used to give us every week water and food. And I used to fight with the guy from the water. So I have to wash my hands. He said, "No, we need the water." I said, "I take less water, but I have to wash my hands." And every week we're waiting, where's stuff coming? I took water and the sun. I remember that. Yeah.
You fought for a lot of years, no?
Between wars.
You wash your hand for lechem? You're washing?
I wash instead to drink it.
Right.
Because they give you each sort.
No, I understand, but you were washing it for Amaiti?
With a container.
Right.
I can.
You were also in the Secret Service in the
Maybe.
The secrets. No Arabic.
My wife
works for helicopter. You work for helicopter?
Helicopter? Helicopter?
Helicopter.
No. They said that the Israelis, it came out that the Mossad was part of it. It was the person who the helicopter driver's name
Thank you
was.
for joining.